guys, welcome back to Mama Doobie. I'm Shelby and I put out videos all about motherhood. In today's video, because it's still January and it's Lucas's birthday month, we're going to be talking about milestones and developmental skills that Lucas has met. I do want to remind you guys that Lucas is just one baby and that all babies develop differently. So if your 1-year-old isn't doing the same things my 1-year-old is, that doesn't mean anything. So please, if you do have any concerns, talk to your doctor about it. Don't fret about it. A lot of babies learn things in different progressions than others, and it's totally normal and okay. Today we're going to be getting into 7 different areas of development and discussing what Lucas is doing in those areas. But before we get into those, please be sure to like this video and share it with a friend, and of course subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. So let's get into those areas of development. Our first area is just going to be his statistics. Lucas weighs 26 pounds. He is 33 inches long. He wears 24 months clothing or 2T clothing. He is in a size 4 diaper. And he has 4 teeth. He's got 2 more coming in. The next area we're getting into is eating, and Lucas is still a really great eater. He's always kind of been a good eater. You can see proof of that in my very first video that I put out about baby-led weaning. I'll link it right above here so that you can check that out. His favorites right now are sweet potato, bananas, and cheese, although he eats pretty much anything. The third area is sleep. And Lucas is still also a very good sleeper. He's always really been a good sleeper. He typically goes to bed between 7:30 and 8 o'clock at night and usually sleeps until around 8 o'clock in the morning. But he typically naps in the afternoon for about an hour and a half, up to 3 hours. Sometimes, of course, he wakes up after like 30 minutes and that's all I get for the whole day. But overall, he's been a really good sleeper. The next area we're gonna talk about is fine motor skills. And Lucas is really starting to develop these fine motor skills. It's like some days he'll just wake up and have a brand new skill that I never even really saw him practicing the night before or any other time before. A few months ago, Lucas was a lot more destructive when it came to his toys, and now he is doing things like trying to put things together and be more constructive. So I think that's really neat. Another shift in the way that he's been playing with toys is that he's actually been using toys the way that they were designed to use them. Before, he wouldn't really try to do what the toy was intended to do. He would just do whatever he wanted with it. And now he's doing things like trying to stack rings on the ring stacker. He does things like trying to stack cups. He has been using the shape sorter on the side of his wooden walker, and he's actually been able to successfully do that, which is really fun to watch. He's also been interested in puzzles, and for the very first time the other day, he actually did put a puzzle piece where it's supposed to go. He's just really been focusing on those fine motor skills. To help him, I've been trying to give him activities throughout the day to encourage him. There's a little jar that I give him where he likes to try to open it and get the little toys up inside out, and it occupies some of his time in the kitchen while I'm trying to get things done. And since we're talking about some of his toys, I thought I would mention some of his favorite toys, and those are still the very same ones as they were before, which is that little red ambulance and this little green garbage truck that he got from the same person. Both of these were hand-me-down toys, and Lucas is still obsessed with these toys. He's loved them for months. He's really been enjoying his walkers, and we'll talk a little bit more about those when we discuss his gross motor skills, but he has been using those nonstop for at least a month and a half. Also, not exactly a toy, but Lucas loves his books. His favorite one right now is actually this pop-up book that he got for his birthday from a friend of ours. He loves looking at all of the little animals and bugs inside. So the 5th area of development that we're going to get into is communication. Lucas is beginning to understand more and more of what I say. He understands things like get down. He often tries to imitate sounds and things that we say to him, although he does say mama and dada, and he also says uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. He's starting to do things like try to sign for more. However, he does it by clapping, which is really cute. And he just started doing things like pointing to the ground for down. Down? Good job. It's so fun to watch him try to communicate with me. And actually, just the other day, I had just finished making breakfast, and Lucas must have realized that it was time for breakfast. So I was putting food on our plates in the kitchen, and he was just on the floor playing. And he stood up, he pulled himself up, and he pushed me towards his chair. And I didn't understand what he was doing at first. I stopped what I was doing, and I was like, hey, what's going on, you know? So I just took him by the hand and let him take me where he wanted to. And he took me right over to his high chair because he wanted to eat. This is what I live for, you guys. I worked with kids for almost 20 years, and these were the things that really drew me into that type of work. So being able to watch my own little boy do it is really fun. So our 6th area of development that we're going to talk about today is life skills. And Lucas is only 1 year old, so really there's not that much that he can do for himself right now. But he does try to do certain things, like he'll try to brush his hair, or he'll try to brush his teeth when it's time to brush his teeth. He also just started trying to use the fork to actually get food on it just the other morning. It's funny because I've given him the fork and the spoon multiple times so that he could try to load it himself. And although he's able to take a loaded fork or spoon and get it to his mouth and take the food right off of it all by himself, he's never tried to actually dip. So I was really surprised when the other morning he just picked up the fork and started trying to pick some food up with it. So later that afternoon, I did the same thing with a spoon, and he made a mess while trying to feed himself some applesauce. So it's just really neat to see all of these little developments. And now let's get to number 7. So we're going to talk about his gross motor skills. So if you were following me on Instagram, you would see the day after Christmas that Lucas actually took his very first steps in front of my family, and it was the sweetest thing. Everybody was cheering him on, and it was amazing. I was actually really shocked because I really didn't think that he was quite ready to do that. I did put shoes on him, which is something that was new to him. He didn't really wear shoes that often. And I think he just felt a little bit more sturdy and wanted to move. He just took a couple steps, and then everybody freaked out, and it encouraged him to keep trying. And he took like 15 steps that night. It was insane. So we were so excited, and I kept thinking, wow, that he's doing that, because Lucas he can stand up and he can pull him up to standing, but he doesn't rise to standing from the ground unless he's pulling on something. And he also doesn't just stand there without holding on to anything most of the time. So I really didn't expect him to start walking yet. So the next week after Christmas, every night when Robert would get home, we would practice walking with Lucas. We would have him walk between the two of us, and it was always fun, and we had to really encourage him to do it because a lot of times he wouldn't want to, and he definitely wouldn't do it when it was just me and him at home. So I don't know what happened, but for some reason he just decided that it was just too much for him, and now he refuses to walk between us. We might get him to walk one direction one time, but it is very rare that he will walk independently right now. What we're doing to encourage him to walk is we're really encouraging him to use the walkers, which we had to encourage him a lot at first, but now he's all about the walkers. And this little wooden one, I wanted to talk about this one. I got this one at a thrift store, and it has all of these really cool activities around the sides. It's got a little shape sorter that he plays with all the time. He likes moving these little objects on the top around, and it's a little bit slower than the plastic one, so it encouraged him to use a walker from the very beginning. So I don't really know where it came from, but if you ever come across something like it and you have a baby that's trying to learn to walk, I do highly recommend something like this. And that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope it brought some light to what is typical for a 12-month-old development and what milestones are common for 12-month-olds to meet. Don't forget to like this video if you didn't already, and subscribe to my channel. And if you know any friends with 1-year-olds or babies that are going to be one soon, please do share this video with them. If you found it helpful, hopefully they will too. I hope you guys have a great rest of January, and I'll be seeing you soon with some more fun videos. Can you brush your hair? That's a hairbrush, remember? Up here, your hair. We were just brushing teeth. Look, it's for your hair.